And welcome back tuning into today's video. We're going to have a look at the coming few weeks. Today we're going to look at some of the longer range models, see what may be happening as we go through November. It's not the official November forecast, that will be issued on Monday. Just a bit of a heads up about where some of the long range models are trending for the next few weeks. Now, before I go on with that, just want to mention the advertising Mes video ads on my page at GazWebBiz.com. Hit play on the video ad. You'll be supporting GazWebBiz.com. So all you have to do is just hit play. You'll be supporting the website, and thanks very much for doing that. Gaz Shop is open for business from today. If you just look underneath this video, there's a button that says Gaz Shop. Click on that, you'll go through to Gaz Shop page, and from Gaz Shop there are some items within Gaz Shop to browse for your fun and amusement, but the key to it all really is the Amazon banners. Click through any of the Amazon banners on the Gaz Shop page and you'll go through to amazon.co.uk. When you get to Amazon, you can do your Christmas shopping at Amazon, and GazWebBiz.com gets a royalty fee for anything that you buy. So you just do your Christmas shopping, and at the same time you're helping to support GazWebBiz.com, and thanks very much for doing that. In celebration of the fact that we're starting Gaz Shop and we're talking about Christmas, I want to start doing some Christmas forecasts. So come back this evening to the events page, and there'll be a video this evening looking at the longer range CFS model, which we can look at in day-to-day steps, by the way, and yeah, you'll be able to see what it's showing today for Christmas Day. Now, that's a very long way off, and we're going to have to see the trend that emerges through November on that, but it's just the start of things beginning to happen. So if you're interested in Christmas weather, come back to the events page this evening, and don't forget to check out Gaz Shop, and don't forget to play video ad. So we're going to start off with the longer range JMA model. This is just updated as it does every day on a Friday. This is broken down into weekly periods. So the first week period is taking us from today, the 1st of November, through to the 8th of November. We're upside down with this, so there's the British Isles just there. It's very obvious what it's showing for the first week of November. A roaring jet stream coming across the Atlantic. Below average height sitting to the north with those deep blue colours. Above average height sitting to the south with the orange and yellow colours. It's a continuation of the pattern that we've been in for several weeks now. Very unsettled. Heavy rain coming in off the Atlantic, low pressure well in the ascendancy, and just a continuation of really, really unsettled conditions for the first week of November. Now, as we move through to the second week of November, which will be taking us from the 8th to the 15th, then we start to find the area of below average heights moving more away to the northwest, and we've got this area of above average heights starting to move up from the south. Wind with that will be coming from a southwesterly direction, so it could be potentially very, very mild actually through that second week of the month, because we'll lose the rainfall and the strong winds, and we'll build that ridge up from the south somewhat. So that is potentially a very mild sort of scenario for the second week of November. That could be a little taste of Indian summer, particularly for the south and the southeast. I think for the north and the northwest, we're close to this area of low pressure, so it'll still be unsettled up there. But down in the southeast, close to this ridge of high pressure moving up from the south, well, there you have got the chance of some really quite decent weather. Of course, the caveat that is that it could be mist and fog by night, but it should be very mild, I think, in that second week of the month, if that's correct. Now, going on to the next 2 weeks, which takes us to the end of November, quite interesting there, because then it's seeing the high pressure building up over the country and sitting slightly to the west. So we've got this yellow area sitting around British Isles and just to the west of the country. Now, you remember last week's update, I can actually go back to last week's update. It did show this area of above average heights developing, but last week it had it more to the northeast. It was sitting more to the east and to the northeast up over Scandinavia. So the idea with that is that we'd have been getting winds coming round more from an easterly direction later on in November. Well, this week it's changed the idea quite a bit, and now the area of above average heights, as I say, is sitting more or less over or just to the west of the country. It still means as we go into the second half of November, we'd like to see the weather becoming much more settled. But the difference is, with high pressure sitting in that orientation, we're probably bringing winds around more from a northwest or possibly northerly or northeasterly direction. Particularly for the east, that could be quite cool, but for the west, probably not that cool. But the thing with this is that with the high pressure building up, of course it's late November, long nights, the heat will be radiating away at night. We'll be getting the chance of frost and fog coming along later on in the month, if that's right. But it's just in a slightly different orientation to last week. Last week it's more to the northeast, this week it's more to the west. But at least it's breaking us, if that's right, out of the very unsettled conditions. And it won't be getting cold, I don't think, in the second half of the month, but it will be getting quite a bit cooler. We'll be getting night frost. These are the city temperature forecast, or this is the city temperature forecast for Birmingham from the long range CFS model from the website webweb.net. You can find webweb.net on my links page. Now here's the dates just here going on the bottom of the chart. These are the temperatures going off to the side of the chart. So let's follow the graph through and see what it's showing. Well, it's showing that we're actually going to have quite a mild first half of the month. We're keeping temperatures, although we're a bit up and down, we're generally keeping temperatures in double figures, at least to the 15th. There's the 15th just there, when actually it is seeing a little bit of a slide off for a day or two. It gets quite chilly, but then the temperatures pick up again around the 17th or the 18th. So going to around the 20th, generally we're keeping it quite mild, although of course it's up and down a little bit, and that's as we bring cold fronts through and having colder sectors just coming in off the Atlantic from time to time. But then the next warm sector comes through, so temperatures lift up again. But so up and down, a bit of a cine wave, and then as we get through to around the 21st, 22nd, then it does see quite a big and dramatic drop, and it's been seeing this for quite a long time now. That from around the 21st, 22nd of November, we get a big plunge down. It goes really quite cold. That's just down to 2 Celsius actually in Birmingham around the 23rd, 24th of November. Then things pick up a little bit for a day or two, and then it gets quite cold again. So definite signs there as we get from the 20th of November, we do get this drop in temperature, although it's seeing another very mild spell going out into December, but I think we'll leave December alone for the time being. But that's just shown between around the 10th and the 15th, another very mild spell into double figures then of December. But let's concentrate in November. So for the first half of November, up to around the 20th, we're very much up and down, but really on the mild side. Then from the 20th or the 21st onwards, it goes quite cold, and it stays quite chilly through the rest of November actually. So frosty periods, this is 0 Celsius just here. Frosty periods really from around the 20th onwards through to the end of the month and into the start of December. Although not every night will be frosty, that's when the greatest risk of frost will be. And that probably ties in with the JMA model. If the JMA is right with that high pressure, the above average heights building in for the the final 2 weeks of November, if it's right, again that raises the risk of frost and fog. So probably in agreement, these two models, although maybe not with the exact pattern that's bringing this, but nevertheless 20th onwards, that's when it's seeing the cooler weather. Finally, the 500 millibar heights from the Beijing Climate Centre broken down into 10-day periods. For the first 10-day period, the 1st to the 10th of November, it's seeing the below average heights sitting to the north, above average heights sitting to the south, so that's high pressure to the south, low pressure to the north, roaring jet stream coming across the Atlantic, a continuation of the pattern that we've been in through much of October. Very unsettled, strong westerly winds, and very sort of changeable weather. But for the second 10-day period, which takes us from the 11th to the 20th, it is seeing a change coming along. High pressure, the above average height starts to build up from the south. So this is in line with the JMA. JMA was showing this high pressure building up from the south through this period. The low pressure, the below average height, is becoming more confined to the north and the northwest of the country. This is showing it towards Greenland. that could be potentially very mild because we've got a southwesterly fetch, a long southwesterly fetch coming up with that. So as I explained with the JMA, which was looking very similar to this, that's potentially a very mild scenario for that period from the 10th. This is from the 10th to the 20th, but the JMA was from the 8th to the 15th. But nevertheless, that period, second week of the month, middle of the month, could be very, very mild indeed with that long fetch southwesterly. For the final 10-day period, the Beijing Climate Centre then takes the high pressure further north. It's taking it more to the north of Scotland, the above average heights there with the orange colours, and ridging into Scandinavia. That would be starting to bring the winds around more from an easterly or southeasterly direction in across the country for the final 10 days of November. And again, that will be a lot cooler. Probably not that cold because we're not getting a huge amount of low pressure travelling underneath, so we're not really pulling the winds down from a very, very cold source, from an Arctic source. But nevertheless, the conduct would be cooling down very quickly in that period of November under high pressure. So that would be, again, for the 10th to the 20th to the 30th, again, it would be suggesting that temperatures are sliding off and it's turning a lot cooler. So it's still this idea that we're very unsettled for the first week to 10 days of November. Then we turn it more settled through the middle of the month and potentially very mild, particularly in the south with the middle of the month. And then from the 20th onwards, still the idea from all these models that the temperatures are going to drop. We'll start to get the frost. That's when we'll start to get the frost. Daytime temperatures will go probably below average by the end of the month. And that's sort of the idea that is emerging across all the models. So I'm not saying that's necessarily how things are going to play out. I'll be doing the November month head forecast on Monday, but it's just a heads up, and it's quite interesting. But across all these models, they're seeing a changeable first few days of November, first week to 10 days, then potentially getting very mild in the middle of the month and settling down more to the south and southeast, and then becoming quite settled in the last stage of the month, but potentially getting a lot cooler. So that's how November is shaping up on these models today. November month head forecast on Monday, but come back this evening when I'll be doing the first Christmas 2013 forecast. And of course, Gav Shop is open for business, so click through, see what it's showing, see what is on Gav Shop, and don't forget go through to the Amazon.co.uk website from the Amazon banners in Gav Shop. That's it for now. Thanks for watching.